Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend D.G. Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello and welcome once again, dear friends. This is your host, Charlie the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is that blue-eyed bomber from the Burg of Pits.
Phil me and Perich.
Hello, Philip. Very glad you're here, as always. Today, it's a special day here on Superconnectivity because we are discussing one of my favorite books as a child. As a young comic book collector. This was actually probably the first graphic novel I ever bought. You're not going to be able to see it here, but it is called The Big Change. With the Hulk and the Thing. Got that from Bud Plant's Comics when I was a kid. That was a mail order comic subscription or mail order comic book company that you could like send that you give them money, they would send you t-shirts. It's like going to a comic book store today, but when you didn't have a comic book store to go to, you would just get your Bud Plant catalog out, you'd open it up, and you'd see all of the greatest wonders of the comic book universe. Indie comics, underground comics, Marvel, DC, of course, and all of that beauty. And one of the first books I got there was The Big Change by the great Jim Starlin, which surprised me. It probably shouldn't have, because it's a very good book. But you know, it's funny. It's one of these books where I think a lot of people wouldn't think of this as their Jim Starlin book, but this is a book that when people talk about Jim Starlin, I now have to make sure I mention that this was a magnum opus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you picked this because I never read this before. Like, I don't know if I've even heard of this book before you mentioned it. So I'm glad you mentioned it. But yeah, Jim Starlin, he's on the Marvel side, he's usually associated with like Thanos, Adam Warlock, stuff like that.
Yeah. And the truth of it is that this is just such a, and it's a cosmic adventure, very much in Jim Starlin's wheelhouse. But it is, and this is also, I think this was when Marvel was first experimenting with the graphic novel format. I think this came out, God Loves Man Kills came out about this time, where they were doing these really high quality cardstock books that were just beautifully painted. And we got to give a shout out to Bernie Wrightson, who did the pencils and inks on this, and of course Michelle Wrightson. Oh, I wonder if they're related. I'm going to assume they are. Who was the colorist on this? And just beautiful colors. And of course Jim Novak does her letters. But so the premise of the book, just to give you an understanding, is it gives you a little slice of life of both the Thing and the Hulk. That first splash page with the Thing, I think is just is classic. Where you see him, he's got the big red splotch on him, and you get the idea that, oh no, the Thing has been injured. But no, he just got hit with a tomato. As they say. And I'm trying to get that image up here. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Don't know if it's going to give me the whole thing. There we go. See, that's why you should have the big Kindle for these things. Yes. And I love the way that the words flow in that, with the, red, the red vegetable innards dripping down his face. it's beautiful, and it's like, you know, he has faced all these threats, but who does he now face? A little Yancey Street toip. Hey, you mother. I love that everyone on Yancey Street sounds like a 1930s cartoon character. That's what they talk like, apparently.
Well, you think about it. I mean, the Fantastic Four first debuted in 1961. So if Ben Grimm was at least 30, yeah, that would have been the 30s.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, he was a little tramp. Little tramp stamp in his day. And then we get the whole origin of the Fantastic Four, which is neat. Then we get again the Hulk slice of life, who we actually see somebody out in the desert who has apparently purchased a mountain and has carved that mountain into a giant monument to Ben Grimm, going through this whole thing about how, you know, cost every penny he had, and his health and most of his life, and two wives.
Marriage, yeah.
Yeah. And finally he has achieved it. And then of course he says, well, you know, we do the little, wait, what's that up in the sky? You know, and it's like, you know, much stronger than train, faster than bullets, able to jump real high. Is that a bird? No, it's not a bird. Is that a plane? No, planes don't jump like that. It's the Hulk. So that was that, and the Hulk does not. And this is the childlike Hulk. Yes. For those who don't recall, he is a delightful character. This was before it got real dark, you know.
Yeah, I believe. Didn't say it was this 1982 or something. This issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just about, like, yeah, I mean, this is when a lot of what we think of as Marvel canon is getting established. This was, you know, during Byrne's run on the Fantastic Four. We were going to get Peter David a few years later on the Hulk. But this was very interesting to me. But I like this version of the Hulk, and I think that's something that they've kind of kept with the Hulk when he goes into his childlike forms now, which is that he's kind of a tantruming child.
Oh yeah,
but he is, by and large, not really an angry being. He's just, you know, mad about the Rockman. He doesn't like the Rockman. Rockman always punches him, and then he has to punch the Rockman back, and you know, it gets complicated, kids. Anyway, both of our intrepid heroes are transported to the planet, Matriculon, I believe?
Maltriculon, yeah.
Yeah, Maltriculon, which is, you know, and again, this is where this book, and this has got this very Douglas Adams, Terry Pratchett kind of feel to it, you know? And it really makes me feel like, wow, why does Jim Starlin not write more comedy?
Yeah, I found that interesting too. It's like, yeah, it's like you're like, again, I said, you know, I'm used to Jim Starlin on like Adam Warlock or something, usually not humorous stories, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, he actually wrote something that was supposed to, you know, he was trying to be humorous. I'm like, yeah, I'm not used to that, because I mean, as they're coming down to that planet, you see the Watcher up in the corner, and he's just like, you know, people think I just look at the big stuff. No, I look at, you know, all these little stories too. He's like,
even the ridiculous,
the silly and the trivial.
Yes, and I, you know, and when you think about it, that's obviously true about the Watcher, you know, and he is kind of a cosmic couch potato, as they say. That's what's getting him in trouble with the Watchers right now in the Reckoning War, as you all no doubt know. Because he's like, did you ever watch the universe where you didn't do it? Where you didn't just, you know, self-aggrandize yourself? But I like the fact that, you know, it's about a bureaucrat who has spent his whole life being unnoticed, and then, dang it, someone noticed him, and now he has a job to do. He has responsibility. That's okay. He has the power of delegation.
He was hoping just to cruise in the retirement, but nope.
Yes. He delegates And I'm going to tell you something. And I'm going to get to this in a minute. I think Taika Waititi has read this and is a fan. And honestly, I think if I ever get to that, because there's a scene in this, you watch and wait, and you go, wait a minute, isn't that what Thor did in Ragnarok? I'll put on a disguise. But anyways, basically the whole thing with Meltriculon is that they change stuff. You want it, we'll change it. You got it, you don't like it, we'll change it into something else, and that's their whole thing. And the big deal is that this scientist Mel Addy has invented the ultimate nutritional enhancer, and they have to. But of course, forgetting all my names now. The boss, McSmash, or is it one of those days?
Yeah,
because there's some jokes about McDonald's in this, you see. But the local gangster, has seized him so that he can corner the market on this food enhancer, and actually become more rich and powerful, as you do, as villains often try to do. And in this situation, our intrepid bureaucrat brings in Hulk and the Thing because they're strong and they're not too bright, and hopefully they will get the work done without asking too many questions. And sure enough, they do, and they do that with the promise that he will grant 2 wishes, because they can do anything.
And he demonstrates, he's like, hey, I can turn you human.
Yeah, I can turn you both human. And what's very interesting, because it shows a great disconnect between Banner and Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
Because suddenly it's Banner again, and he's like, wait, what? Why am I here? And then he's like, oh, no, Hulk back to being Hulk. Hulk hate Banner. It's like, which, that opens this whole question about, informed consent. And, would it be right of the Thing to use a wish on the Hulk to make him be Banner when, that's not what Hulk want. And Hulk's the one doing the heavy lifting here. So, and that goes to our great little moral at the end of this, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes.
Moving right along. They do smash out. And the whole time Ben is like, because it's like, I got 2 wishes, and if I can figure out how to make us both human
in one wish,
then maybe, I can use that second wish for the world. We can eliminate hunger. We can eliminate disease, make everybody, freaking Steve Rogers, where they're physically strong and healthy for the rest of their lives, eliminate all sickness and suffering, all these possibilities. But how do you word it? It's your classic genie dilemma. How do I make this wish without it, backfiring on us?
Yeah. I mean, that part's interesting, because it's like, you mentioned, it's like, because the administrator or whatever brings them both there because he thinks they're not too bright. So do you think, was Starlin writing Ben like as he wasn't that bright, or is it at this point in history, does Ben just play up that stereotype just to like lull people into a sense of, just underestimating him?
Oh yeah, and I think he does, and I think he absolutely does that. And I think that is what Starlin is doing here, because obviously they're not dumb people. After all, the Hulk is actually Bruce Banner and is a genius. But it's all about how people see them, because as we see later, like everyone's watching that Earth horror show, the 6 o'clock news. Those monsters, and again, the squid character. Again, that seems like a character Taika Waititi would write,
Mm-hmm.
Or in this case, like I said, you would see that character in a Terry Pratchett novel. You would see that character in a Douglas Adams novel. The idea of, this, rather highfalutin squid character that the Hulk uses as a hat. Because Hulk needs a disguise too. Yeah. They do eventually get to the mob boss's place after going through. They have to face a death rob, who actually, and it's funny because of course the Hulk is fighting it, and the thing is fighting it, but it's made out of like adamantium or something, but it's funny because when they eventually defeat it, it's just because it accidentally trips over the thing.
Oh yeah, because the Hulk leaps away, and Ben's like, "Hey, I can't do that."
Yes, which is annoying. Why can't the thing do that?
I think just because he's made of rock, he's so heavy, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe, but it's like he's also super strong too.
Yeah,
you would think he could do some kind of a jump. I think it's that he never tries, or maybe he's just worried he'll take too much fall damage. Maybe. That's the thing. Is like the Hulk never thinks about his fall damage. And so that's I guess is the difference. You do that jump real high, and then you feel like, oh, but if I land, see, that's the thing is the thing's too much in his head. He probably could do a lot more, but he's never thinking about it the way that the Hulk just does it. The Hulk is like the dragon. It flies because it is a dragon.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, Hulk has a healing factor. Does Ben have a healing factor of any kind?
Well, that is an interesting question. He takes a lot of damage. I've actually often made the argument that I really think that the whole thing about Ben Grimm is that he can take that in the same way that the Hulk is the the madder he gets, the stronger he gets, which becomes a plot point in a minute. I always feel like the thing is like the more you punch him, the more he gets back up. And it's just like this unbreakable resilience in his existence.
Yeah,
that I think is central to the character. So, at least that's my take on it. That's my read on it. And I like that read. I think that works in this scenario. Oh, okay. We do meet the bad guy. I think what is it, Banger McCrusher? He's something like that.
They're all mixed.
And he's a big. Yes. Although first we have to get to Hulk Reason.
Oh yeah.
Which is my and it's just such a throwaway scene where rather than fight, the Hulk's just going to talk these people to death, and he does. And there's just this thing. It's like, wow, that was amazing, and you just see all of the bad guys just laid out like there. But it kind of it looks like he beat them up, but really, from everything that's said in the scene, it's like, no, he just bored them to death. And just talking about how mutton stew was the closest thing you can get to heaven, and brass buttons hurt his eyes. I like that just as a concept for the Hulk. I'd love to see more. I'd love to see what the Hulk's philosophizing was.
I mean, again, that's the humor. It's like, Hulk thinks he's having this big, deep conversation, but meanwhile, he's probably just punching guys in the face. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that could be it too. Although, again, like I said, it says that the thing fell asleep. So I actually think that they just let Hulk talk, and Hulk wasn't fighting them. And it's probably one of these things where it's like, well, we're not going to pick a fight with the Hulk. He's still the Hulk. So maybe we just have to let him reason, and then he just talks him to death. It just, I love the idea. I just love the idea. And again, it's one of these things where it's funnier that it's not there, and just this idea that you sort of build in your head. But yeah, and of course, just as this ending says, Hulk liked reasoning. Maybe Hulk not fight anymore. Maybe Hulk just reason. And then we come back to this thing because, of course, as we saw, our senator had put like basically feel good juice in the Hulk's brain prior to this.
Yeah.
So that the Hulk is calm. He's not going to blow up. And that causes a problem when they do fight our mob boss, because, and we see that he had himself adapted to be like the Thing and the Hulk. So he is actually an amalgam of the two.
Yeah, like a giant-sized
and
Hulk Thing, yeah.
Yes. Giant-sized Hulk Thing. And Ben Grimm realizes that he is all this stuff, that he can't get mad, and because he can't get mad, he's not able to access that full unstoppable Hulk strength. And then he says, "Hey Hulk, did you hear what that guy said about your mother?"
Mm-hmm.
Hulk's mother? Which I just, again, it's ridiculous, but it is perfect for the scene. You know, it is perfect for what it comes down to. And then we just get this like run of all the things that Ben Grimm is saying about the Hulk's mother, as it were. That, you know,
he claims your mother had a personal relationship with the Green Bay Packers. He says that when you came out the way you did, dumb and green, that's why you came out the way you did. He accuses you of counting on your fingers. He blames you for Howdy Doody going off the air. He says you're a Como, a red, a pinky. No, Hulk is green.
Yes. And it is great. And that, of course, does get them to that point where they can, you know, have an it's smashing time moment where they do overcome our mobster, and they get Mel Addy back. And that's where we find out what the ultimate change in nutrition is. It is the ultimate flavor enhancer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's Banger McNasty, maybe. Yeah. Hulk not smoking. Yes, but
I know the sign says keep out. So I know the sign says keep out or die, and Ben says, "Don't you see the sign? Yeah, Hulk not smoking." So is that just a joke, or are we saying like Hulk can't read?
I'm guessing, yeah, it's like Hulk can't read. Which means all those things we saw of Hulk read, they were lying to us, Phil. They were lying to us.
He was looking at the picture. He was looking at the pictures.
He was looking at the pictures, yeah. Yeah, Banger McCrusher. There we go. Yeah. Here's a good image of him there. That's too much light on my camera. You can't see it very well. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, but it is just, I like that idea that all of this stuff was, as he says, cosmic A1 sauce.
I know, just Ben's face in that panel was like, what?
Yes.
All that for cosmic A1 sauce?
Yes. But, you know, they got through it, and he goes to use his special power. He make his wish, and he's thinking about how he's going to do it, how he's going to phrase it, and then Hulk just says, Hulk want food and Hulk want go home. And this is your classic genie conundrum, because the genie doesn't really have to grant you any wishes. The genie is there on your day, and the easiest way that he can grant a wish is how the genie is going to grant the wish.
Mm-hmm.
And so before the Thing can do anything, they both just get sent back on a big pile of hamburgers.
Yes.
You know, with ketchup. And I think there's even like a little ketchup packet there that Hulk is putting on his burger.
I mean, no, he was nice. He didn't even say Hulk won. He goes, we want food and we want to go home. So he's like, all right.
Yeah, exactly. You know, well, hey, he's acknowledging that he's acknowledging it was a team effort. Yeah. And then, you know, and this gets back to it where it's like, when the Thing had to convince the Hulk to come, he makes the point of, you know, I'll show you a good time. And the Hulk says, okay, I want to have a good time. And then it's like, oh yeah, you know, we had a good time. Okay. Yeah. You know, and that is that, you know.
Well, I love that last page. Ben just about to drop a giant rock on his head. His Hulk
yes,
sitting
yeah.
there
It says hold still. Oh, anyway, yeah, but that was a great book. I really enjoyed that, and like I said, it's interesting. It's interesting to see how it presents itself, how it flows through everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like what it is, and it's kind of cool. Um, it certainly was a book that stuck with me most of my life, and I appreciate that without a doubt. And yeah,
Yeah, like I
it's
said,
cool.
I was glad you brought this up because I had never read this before. I don't know if like I said, I don't think I even have heard of this book before. So I was very happy to read this, especially being fans
Yeah,
of both of these guys.
yeah. Well, they're good guys. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's what we can say is they're good guys. Yeah, it's interesting just how much fun a book can be. When I get the feeling like, I don't know if people were really trying to reinvent the wheel with this, but it definitely feels like someone was saying, "Oh yeah, you know what? Let's make a story. Let's tell a tale." And it was good. And like I said, like the parallels between this and Ragnarok, like the more I think about it, the more it kind of jumps out at me.
Yeah.
Again, it's the Hulk in Ragnarok, it's the Hulk in this. You have the scene with throwing the cloak over himself for Thor to hide himself. Um, there's a lot in that seems very, very relatable and related to it, which I do find interesting. And like I said, it's just the comedy of it. It's just a lot of fun.
I mean, I wonder if
Oh,
again, I'm not used to Starlin being humorous. I wonder if that was the plan all along, or if he was just like, you know what, this story is so ridiculous. I'm just going to steer into the skid and make this a humorous story.
yeah. Well, you know what? I get the feeling that probably I get the feeling that he always wanted to write humor based
Mm.
on this. I think that was like, oh, I should write something fun and silly. I think he has written fun, silly stories in the past, but it's just not what he's known for.
Oh
And he
yeah,
had this, yeah,
yeah.
and he
I
had
mean,
this.
when he writes Adam Warlock, it's all moody and stuff. That's like I don't think
Mhm.
you can't write Adam Warlock like humorous and stuff.
Now, did he write Squirrel Girl versus Thanos, or was that someone else?
I don't know. Let me look this up. But
Yeah, yeah, because as I'm reading this, I'm like, yeah, this could be about Squirrel Girl. The only other person that would be like perfect for this is Squirrel Girl. But yeah, it's a great book. It should be read by everyone. I highly recommend it. Um, and yeah, that's my opinion. Uh, what else do we want to talk about tonight, Phil?
um, I don't know. Well, since you mentioned it, do you want to do this week's Fantastic Four issue?
It was a Fantastic Four issue this week.
Oh no! I'm sorry. That was last week. I'm sorry.
I got Captain Carter, Suicide Squad, and the Monkey Prince. But we can talk. We can talk that. I thought we talked about it last week. So that's
Oh yeah, we did. I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
okay.
That's what I said. It was that was last week's issue. Yeah.
Okay.
I get confused.
It's okay. Happens to us all sometimes. We're all getting older. Um,
I mean, it's up to you if you want to save your books for Capes and Lunatics. That's
yeah.
fine.
Well, I mean, it's for me. It's 6 of 1, half a dozen. So, like I said, I only got 3 books this week. So
yeah, it wasn't a
we'll
lot of
leave that
Marvel
there.
this week. Yeah.
Now, oh, you know what we can talk though? We could certainly talk a Picard if you want to fill some time. Did you see the latest Picard?
Yes, I just watched it yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting take on it on several levels. Also, just the fact that the big revelation at the end is not that Picard had an abusive father, though that is apparently the story he has told himself for years.
Yeah.
But that his mother was actually severely mentally ill, and that she actually died in the tunnels when she was trying to get away because she was having a panic attack about, the voices in her own head. And that I think is a very interesting aspect of it, especially given Patrick Stewart's own history with domestic violence, and being the child of a domestic abuser, and how that affects you, and to have it sort of do that. And it's interesting because on one level, you're imagining, we all know Patrick Stewart's history. And it makes you wonder, is this like they're going to play that? Or did they intentionally give that just so they could flip the script on you? Just to have you say, well, actually, that is Patrick Stewart's history. That's not Jean-Luc Picard's history. And that actually there's more to it than that, and it's possible his father did beat his schizophrenic mother too. So it's just not something that we got a lot of on camera.
Yeah, I just took it as his child, as a child, he wanted to, his brain didn't want to accept it. It's like, my mother's going through this. And it's like, oh, hey, no, my father drove her to it. And just trying to make sense of that. And I was like, at first when he's sitting there with, it looks like he's just sitting there with a psychiatrist or something. We don't know it's the father yet, but I'm like, wait a minute, he's in that android body. I'm like, is this like some kind of subroutine that like tries to get his brain back on track? If he, because he
like
did get hit by a car.
Yeah. Oh, I really think that they're kind of
ignoring that.
The whole turning Picard into an android, which again means he's dead. It's like that's at every level. It's like if there is anything, Picard is dead, and this is a copy of Picard in an android. Which again makes it even weirder. Like, why did you put me in an old man body? It's like you couldn't just give me a nice new body.
Well, because Patrick Stewart still looks like Patrick Stewart.
Well, yeah, I know that. I understand why they kind of had to do it.
Yeah, but then you put him in a full data android body. Then it's like, why isn't he lifting stuff over his head? Why isn't he using all this super strength? And
because they wanted him to just be normal. Human normal. And it's like, why though? What? It doesn't, that is one good thing I will give for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. When they put Coulson in an android body, they gave him the full android treatment. He's like, oh wow, I'm a superhero now.
Yes, but that actor's not 81 years old either.
Yeah, Clark Gregg didn't just fall off the turnip truck though. He's been around. Remember, he was married to old Christine.
I know.
I cannot wait for those two to meet in the revised MCU. It's just
oh yeah.
And to me, that's how I know Clark Gregg is coming back, because it's like, oh, you're gonna put Julia Louis-Dreyfus in it as our new, evil Nick Fury, and you're not gonna have a scene where she meets Clark Gregg. Come on, who are you making these films for?
Okay, Clark Gregg is 60. That's no spring chicken, but 60 is better than 81.
Yes, no, truly, yes. And and to be fair, I'm sure Clark Gregg is like, yeah, you feel it, you feel the time and the trolley. It's a lot to maintain, but
and again, he's probably had access to those Marvel, those Disney trainers. For the last, since that first Avengers movie, at least.
Yeah, that's included in the health plan. It's a very good company to work for. They do take care of their own.
That fountain of youth.
Yes.
But no, and then that whole Picard thing at the end of that episode, it's like the feds come in and arrest him and guy.
I love that. Because it's like, yeah, you guys are jumping around in a place where, like, oh yeah, there are cameras everywhere. You know,
Exactly.
you know, these people disappeared from, you know, the what do you call it? The INS truck. You know, you're not being subtle, guys.
Well, the guy showed him, you know, there's footage of him teleporting in. I love God, and she's like, oh yeah, that camera glitches all the time.
Well, I just like the idea that she's like trying to summon a Q, and the whole place, you know, rattles and shakes, and then this guy comes in, which is also just a weird coincidence in and of itself, where it's like you almost feel like, is this Q related?
Oh yeah, when that guy walked in, I thought maybe at first I'm like, oh, is this a Q?
Yeah, because he doesn't have to look like John Delancey, you know.
No, yeah, no, especially if it's a different Q, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, at first, I actually thought that the father in the Picard dream was actually going to be Q's son. So, remember, Q has a kid.
I was waiting for it to be Q. Oh.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's the thing about the Q is that they're all Q. You know, the Q are Q. We've all been the Scarecrow. Favorite line. You know, you know, it's interesting. It's an interesting tale. It was a neat way to explore something about Jean-Luc that we probably hadn't. It's very much a filler episode.
Yeah.
But it's also just the idea that, yeah, this is where we understand that Q is making the test. Q is building this out. And, you know, Q wants him to understand something, needs him to understand something. You know, and it's weird because it's like, why are you trying to say that he did all this just so that you could have this revelation about your mom? That seems a very circuitous.
Well, his powers aren't working. Remember, he's had problem with his snap. So hey, yeah, let's get Sung to hit him with the car.
Yeah, and that worked out well, you know.
Jean-Luc, you're in an android body. I knew it wouldn't have killed you.
Yes. Well, exactly, and that's what. And again, it's what I wonder is like, what is Q's endgame? And it's very interesting. This is so much better than the previous season. You know,
maybe because once again the Borg are trying to invade in the 21st century.
Yeah, but you know, I do think this is going to be part of what we get at the closed circle of it. That the Borg Queen who comes through at the beginning is actually the Doctor.
Oh,
who is now the Borg Queen, and she is, you know, trying to come back, but at the same time, it's going to be the situation where the Borg have been assimilated by her, you know, and there's going to be something. That's all I'm saying. There's going to be something, and you know, one thing we know about the Q is that he loves that time is a flat circle stuff. You know, he loves to.
Or it's just like, yeah, the Borg themselves want you to change time back because they got a taste of the 21st century, didn't like it. They want to come out.
Please help us.
They got a taste of humanity in the 21st century. They're like, nah, we're good.
We are not assimilating you guys now. Guys are gross. Yeah. So that's the mystery, and that's why we're. How many episodes are in this?
Yeah, let me look, see if I got a list here. Yeah, because check my TV app. Picard. Yeah, this was episode 7 this week. My list says 10, so unless they haven't added the rest of them yet, there might only be 3 more episodes.
Okay, well, I think they can wrap up a lot in the next 3 episodes.
I'm trying to remember. Wait, let me see. Was season 1 only? Yeah, season 1 was only 10, so yeah, it might be 10.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, I know Moon Knight is like, what, 6? And we're already like up to 4?
Wait, was that 3 or 4 this week? Yeah, I think it was 3, just 3 this week.
Oh, 3? Okay.
More. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a good episode. We definitely are getting a lot of the thoughts. It's like, what? How? If you didn't do it and I didn't do it, who did? Everyone's at home, you know. Good old Jake, whatever his last name is.
And just Khonshu being Khonshu. Let's roll this back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That I did like that. There's all these like, what exactly did he do? Just like, you know, when he causes the eclipse.
Yeah.
In truth, I believe that's all very localized. So, and there's, you know, actually there's a lot that is actually a standard miracle, as they say in the prophetic universe, you know, that, oh yeah, you know, the gods just, you know, they hold the sun in the sky, they make the moon, you know, that, you know, because obviously, you know, Egyptians knew about eclipses. They knew that when they happened, because they, you know, they charted stars and stuff. In fact, that's the entire premise of this, is how they started these things. The only thing that's a little weird about it is, I mean, he technically didn't have to move the sky, because we have computer programs that can tell you where these things, where the stars would have been. Like, you know, now maybe they just didn't have it, or they didn't think of it, or they didn't know what the day was. Like, you know, but it seems like, oh no, that was like, yeah, March 5th, you know, 20,000 BCE. And then, so this would be where it is, you know.
Or could Khonshu created a small illusion and be like, okay, here's where it was, you know. I think it was just plot point. It's like, we need to lock up Khonshu.
Yeah. Well, it's the idea, and I also think that maybe it's something about the nature of the gods, that they can only do things in certain ways.
Grandiose.
Because that's how their powers work, you know.
I love when they were talking to the gods, and they bring in what's his name, Harrow, and he's just like, you know, clutches pearls. Who, me? I would never do such a thing.
Heaven forbid, which also just kind of suggests these gods are very bad at their job.
I know.
Isn't
like,
one of these guys supposed to be all-seeing? You know?
All this guy's lying. Oh no, who, me? What? Just watch him for 5 minutes. You'll see him. He's like, oh, we're here. We found it.
Well, you know, it is an odd duck there, but and that, you know, Khonshu is not good at arguing his case either, you know.
No.
And although I did like when we actually do talk to Mark, and Mark is like, you know, yeah, I'm mentally ill, but this guy is also a crazy killer, you know.
Yeah.
Two things can be true, you know.
Yes.
I am mentally ill, but I'm also not wrong about this person. And, you know, you should understand that he is trying to do something evil. And you would think that they would understand that. It's like, yeah, no, we understand. You know, you would think that they would know that that he's trying to resurrect Amet, you know, because he has literally said that is his goal. You know, and literally said he wants to do that so that they can, you know, judge the whole world. And it's a weird idea, this elder goddess Amet to release, and just see where it goes. I don't know.
Yeah, but is it just one of those ideas where the gods have underestimated these lesser beings?
Well, I guess you know, I guess it is. Well, except it's not underestimating the lesser being; it's underestimating the actual plan of Amet. You know, they locked up Amet. They know her. You know, it's not like this is, oh yeah. You know, that Amet chick. Yeah, what was her thing again? I don't know. It's weird because clearly she was locked away. And locked away in a way that is apparently slightly different than, I guess, how Khonshu's been locked away.
I guess. Yeah. Well, I mean, we haven't seen her yet, but yeah, Khonshu gets like what put in as a stone statue or something.
Yes, and I thought it was very interesting because Khonshu knows what's going to happen to him, and then tells Stephen to tell Mark to free him, which says he knows that he can be freed from this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, and I imagine that's how they're going to end it, is this idea that, you know, Stephen and
Mark
Khonshu are going to come to this understanding of, yes, you saved me, and now you saved my life, and you've repaid your debt, and you can still be my fist, but we're on a more even keel now. You know what I mean? And I think that'll be a good way to end it. And then we get the Jake Lockley reveal. Sorry, Jake Loxley.
It seems like that's the way they're going.
Yes. Yeah. And, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that this is going to be a good episode. I think it's been a good couple of episodes. I think that it really holds together nicely. And, we got a little Egyptian knife fighting thing in this one, which is good.
Oh, yeah.
Although, man, I was so mad that guy wasn't Frenchie. I thought, as I saw the mustache, oh, is that Frenchie? There's going to be a whole thing. And then they're like, no, buddy, it's me. Yeah, so far we only got the one Frenchie, which tells me I think Frenchie's just been working on the moon copter the whole time. It's going to, hey, Mark, I was waiting for you to call me. Yeah. I got the moon copter all fixed, eh? Anyway, that's for the future. All right. Philip, do you want to give us our plugs, our Gmail, our phone number?
Sure. Yeah. All right, everyone. Yeah. If you want to send us your thoughts on all the Marvel stuff, again, we've been talking Picard, Moon Knight. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all our social media for all the shows, link to the YouTube channel, our Patreon, most important, please, if you can, subscribe there. Got a bunch of exclusive content and early access to creator interviews and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch. That's right.
Real aluminium.
That's right.
So and find t-shirts.
That's true.
Ooh, many colors.
Yes. Many colors you can get that in. But yes, find it all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics.
And, of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our mothers and fathers once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet things when I feel like it, like Naomi, when I feel like it, or Legends of Tomorrow, if that ever comes back, or some show that they might do that'll actually be on broadcast TV again from Marvel someday. At Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Super Connectivity. I certainly hope you guys come back next week and super connect with us again. Good night.
Good night. Although it's morning, you could have pulled a Paul Harvey. Good day.
Good day. Yes, I should have done that. Yeah, there we go.
Could have paused.
I'll leave it for you.
This is Charlie Esser. Good day.
Good day. And now you know the rest
of the story.
Yeah, you know what, Phil? Kids listening, they don't know who Paul Harvey is.
No.
It was a very rarefied group who knew him in the first place, you know.